As a leader in the grief space, I've cared for and supported families and communities for over 20 years. This show dives into the journey and experiences all of us will most certainly encounter in life. Welcome to the Guiding Grief podcast, where we discuss grief and explore opportunities for growth and connection. I'm your host, Nicholas Welzenbach, and this is Guiding Grief on KCAT TV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Guiding Grief and our series talking about tomorrow. We're on KCAT TV. We are honored to be here with our guest today, Shannon Corpuz from Pence Financial. She is a financial advisor, financial planner. She's going to provide us so much information today as it relates to protecting your family in the future, protecting yourself, making great decisions as it relates to pitfalls, woes, things that you might run into that if you listen to this, you might alleviate, right? Just take these simple plans and these simple steps, put them into action. Call Shannon or call a financial planner that you've spoken to in the past and you have a trusted relationship with. But it is critical when planning for tomorrow that you're looking for your financial future. So thank you so much, Shannon, for being with us today on Guiding Grief and being a part of this Talking About Tomorrow series, which I believe is mission critical for our community to talk about all the things that are associated long before people meet me in my portion of this universe and the community that I get to serve. But yours is making sure that you're planning for all of those pitfalls that a family might incur but could definitely avoid.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So you've been a financial advisor for some time now.
Yes.
What are the main questions someone walks in the door that they ask you, like out of the gate?
Well, I think one of the main questions I get, there's a difference between, what people ask and what they should ask, and we'll talk about that too. But people will ask things like, am I saving enough? And yeah, I guess that's the main one. Am I saving enough? And it's a tough question because it depends. And usually all the questions depend, right? It depends on where they're at in their stage of life. It depends on how much they've been saving for how long and whatnot. So each situation is unique, and we have to learn about each client individually, and then their plan will also be unique according to their goals and objectives and lots of factors.
Right.
A lot of factors.
Right, because you're going to have to, what do you make? What are you saving? What are your habits? And then do you have to deal in the reality of like that based on your run rate, that's not a reasonable expectation. If you would like to get there, here's how I would help you get there.
Yes, yeah. But we have to take a look at everything and their whole financial well-being holistically first to be able to give a recommendation.
How often are you meeting with a family or meeting with a couple or an individual like well in advance, like they're on the beginning of their journey versus I'm in the midst of this journey and I'm transferring from one place to another? Is a lot of it, do we get people as young as we'd like to start making those great habits?
We are getting younger people. And I wanted to talk about that today as well, because we want to encourage people who have the luxury of time on their side to start now. That's when it's important. If you wait until your 40s, your 50s, you don't have that on your side anymore. You've wasted that resource.
The luxury of time.
Right.
Like
right.
Compounding small changes.
Exactly.
Yeah. I have a mentor and a friend for years, and I was very young when I started working with this gentleman. His name is Alex, and he was sharing with me, and I had made a statement, and he corrected me on it. He was always willing to correct and provide guidance, right? It was never a shameful thing, but it was always just kind of like taking the shoulders and pointing them in the right direction. And I was like, when I get there, I'll donate to this. And he said, if you can't do it when you have nothing, you can't do it when you have everything.
Right.
And I was always just so blown away from that. Like, that's simple. He told me this 26 years ago, and I'll never forget it, because it was one of those things. If it's not part of your practice, if it's not something that you have found and believe in, then you can't do it all of a sudden you're
right.
just going to live within the means. So
Yeah, you want to, as a younger person, you want to start that habit now. You want to build that muscle memory now, build that savings muscle up now.
right.
So it's part of your lifestyle and you just do it. And as you make more, you'll save more. And if you can do this, which of course you can find a way to do it, then you will have so many other choices later in life than everyone else. You'll be in a much better position. You'll have just more options.
Do you like those little savings vehicles where it's like, oh, we're going to round up and put this away? Is that one of those things, or is that really the bank is doing something and putting it into a savings account and reaping the benefit of it? And it's not necessarily a you thing versus, an institution creating a savings mechanism.
I think that the individual needs to save as much as he or she's comfortable with. But yeah, you definitely should have a plan, and you definitely should map it out and start when you're young. And depending on your income, it's going to be a certain percentage of your income, right? And that will increase as you make more. But it's up to, like, even having an emergency fund, that amount is whatever that comfort level is for that individual or for that family.
Right. But your specialty is defining those parameters, helping because sometimes they don't know. Like, oh, I didn't know I needed to have
An emergency
this rainy
fund.
day.
Right.
This is gonna, we all know that it's supposed to be 3 months salary for a wedding ring, but like, what is the 3 month salary for if you lose your job or you lose your home? Like,
Right. For an emergency fund for young people just getting started, we talk about an emergency fund 8 months to a year salary. That's what you really want to have, especially in this area, because if you're
Saved.
out of work for 6 months to a year, you need to be prepared for that. If you have some kind of devastating emergency, you need to be prepared for that.
And is that a savings account, or is that a money market account? Is that stocks? Is that any number? Or is it like a compilation of all those things put together that you?
It's a brokerage account, which is an investment and a type of investment account that isn't charged fees. You're actually charged when you make trades.
Okay.
So if you put that in a high yield savings account or in a brokerage account and invest it in treasury bills or something safe, that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Small gains, but long-term impact.
Right.
Awesome.
You don't want to put it in something risky.
Yeah.
You don't want to put it in stock.
Right.
Right.
So on the volatile side,
Right.
let's stay away from this in the short.
Yeah.
So what are those questions that so someone might know that's listening to this? What are the great questions that you wish someone would come in and say, this is what I plan to do, or how do I ask the question? What are those questions that you wish that folks knew to ask so you could help guide them effectively?
I think people need to be asking, do my loved ones know what to do if something happens to me?
So where does it all go? How does it unravel?
Right.
In the absence of.
So does the family have a trust in place? Does the family have insurance in place? Does the family have some cash to get by until the life insurance kicks in, until other vehicles kick in? So there needs to be a plan, and the family needs to talk about it. And I think that's what's very, very hard, because in our culture, we don't talk about death. We don't talk about end of times. We don't talk about anything that's uncomfortable, right? We avoid it at all costs. So that is what I think that's what I wish people would talk more about, is planning for the future in terms of estate, making sure that all their accounts have beneficiaries on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. Making sure they have an advance directive in place, making sure they have a power of attorney in place.
Now, I want to ask this question. Pence isn't just that brokerage account.
No.
Pence is comprehensive of all of those.
Yes.
So that is the service that you're not providing that, hey, we're going to help you grow your money. We're going to help you protect your family against whatever's coming for you, which is the inevitable, right?
Right. So
you mentioned the advanced healthcare directive. I'm a funeral professional. It's the most important document that a family needs, unless there is someone in the law of 7100. And law of 7100, if anyone is wondering what that is, it's the kinship law. Who has control to make those decisions? And for us, we need that individual, right? If it's a husband and he passes, it's the wife. But if the son has that advanced healthcare directive, they can make those decisions.
Right.
And in my universe, it has the ability to make decisions for final disposition. It has been the same language for the 26 years I've been a funeral professional. But that is also a key to the next steps, right? Because it's the only document that actually functions after someone passes away, because everything else moves to two things. And you want to help people avoid going to probate.
That's right. That's right, at all costs. Yeah.
Can you help someone in probate?
Yeah, I mean, you are going to have to get an estate attorney and work with that estate attorney, and I can definitely help there, guide and collaborate. But it's going to be messy and it's going to take time.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas, I have a trust set up for Kendall and kids, right? And that goes into play. Right.
Yeah.
That is
Right.
Now that succession takes place.
Right.
But shoot, you're right. If I told Kendall today that, hey, I wanted to chat about burial and cremation, and I want to remind you who to call if something happens, and then where the trust is. My wife's been married to a funeral director for a really long time. And she immediately goes, no.
I don't want to talk about this.
I don't want to talk.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, this is what I do.
Right.
I'm like, I'm talking to a financial advisor planner today. And she's like, yeah. But we have it all in writing, right? It doesn't matter. You should still have that conversation.
You should know where it is. Everyone should know where it is. Your kids, if they're of age where they may be involved, they should know where the trust is. They should know where the advance directives are. They should know where the power of attorney is. And if they are the power of attorney, they should know that
what does
they
that
are.
entail?
Right, and what it entails.
Do you need to be 18?
I'm not sure about that. That's a great question, but it's funny because I just took my youngest to Long Beach State last week for school. And when I was at the parent orientation, they talked about this service they have where you can set up an advance directive and a power of attorney for your child. And I was like, that is amazing, because people don't usually think about that. They're an adult. They're on their own now. What if something happens to them? They need to have that in place. So right away I was like, okay, we're all doing this.
We're doing this.
All my kids, we're all doing this.
And all
Call
your
the
children
state
are down
attorney,
south.
we're doing this.
We're calling it.
We have ours, of course, and they know everything about ours. But they need to have it too. What if something happens and they can't make a decision for themselves?
Yeah.
Right? Who makes the decision legally?
And they're fortunate to have a mom that's seeing something like that, because that could pass by, 90% of the families that go down and like, oh, here's this great thing. How do we get more individuals to think like this, that to see that and say, that's my call to action, because that's something that's going to protect my family, that's going to protect me. And it's protecting against that inevitable. How do we change more minds or get people to, Pence Financial or their financial planner? I mean, I struggle with, getting people to advance plan, whether it's burial or cremation, whether you write it down, whether you fund it. You should do it because people should know.
I think like with everything, it's education, right? You just have to be open to finding out what you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not open to that, then nobody can help you. But if you are, then you want to, if you already know someone, or you know of someone you can talk to who can refer you to someone in that financial space, then do it and just go in and have a heart-to-heart and talk about where you're at, where you want to be, and get started.
And then you have to have difficult conversations, I imagine, with individuals. Like, that's a lofty goal and you're saving this. So like, how you'll need to make a change to get to that end.
Yes.
I mean, you're having no false kindness conversations.
We have to take a look at their expenses now and what their expenses will be in retirement. Right. And if something needs to be adjusted, it's pretty clear.
Yeah, right. And then you have facts. You've got information in front of you to say, hey, this is how you can get there. But this is where you'll need to tighten your belt or make that adjustment. Wow. I have so many questions about the financial space. It is, as it relates to markets on a daily basis and the fluctuations that we experience today and tomorrow, and then just making sure you're making those sound decisions. What's another one of your favorite questions that you wish more folks would come in and ask you?
Another one is, let me think for a second. So another one is, where do I want to be 5, 10, 30 years from now? You want to think about that. And am I preparing my loved ones not only financially, but emotionally for the life transitions that are ahead?
Right. So it's so multi-layered, right? Those are great benchmarks, 10, 20, 30, because something can happen in between, something can happen tomorrow. But what am I staging? Because if you're making that decision on advanced healthcare directive today, if you're making the trust decision and all of these things, now you're preparing for that 1 to 10. But then 10 is more of a financial marker, like how could I protect you against me not being here, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if you're the primary breadwinner of your family and you're like, I need to make sure that when I'm not here that they're okay.
Right.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
It is a heavy universe that you get to have. I want to talk more about the robust services that Pence Financial provides, because I love the fact that it is a holistic approach to the entire experience that a family can have inside that. It's not single focus. It's not just finances. It's everything that a family needs.
It's everything. It's not just planning and wealth management, although that is such a large part of it. It is estate planning, it's tax planning, it's risk mitigation, which is insurance, right? Doing analysis to see if you need insurance. Some families may not need insurance, but mm-hmm. some will, right? So there's that analysis, making sure that all your estate documents are in place.
Yeah. Well,
so important.
We are going to be back. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to take a quick break from Guiding Grief and talking about tomorrow. We'll be right back with Shannon Corpuz from Pence Financial. Thank you so much. A brief note from our sponsors, Darling Fisher and Los Gatos Memorial Park. Thanks for tuning in. We'll have you back in just a second. I'd like to take an opportunity and pause just to thank our sponsors, Darling Fisher and Los Gatos Memorial Park, celebrating lives one story at a time. As members of the community here in Campbell, San Jose, and Los Gatos, it has been an honor to care for so many of the loved ones of our community, and we are so grateful for your trust. That's why we're supporting this podcast, Guiding Grief, and bringing your community information about how to heal. Welcome back to Guiding Grief. We're here with Shannon Corpuz. We're talking about tomorrow, and we're so excited to really dive in to that robust part of Pence. We've talked a little bit offline about like you're not in the tax preparation, but you're in the tax planning space, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many things that people think of when they think of wealth management. And it's really like, hey, I'm going to give you some of my money and you're going to make more money out of that. But that's a huge part of what you do, but it isn't all of it, right?
Right. If you're in a higher tax bracket, you're going to want to invest in vehicles that are going to give you tax shelters and tax savings, right? So we're going to look at your tax return. We're going to look at everything, analyze everything, and see and do tax analysis on your tax return and see where you can improve your savings there. Yeah.
Right, because it's all about leaving more for tomorrow for your family, right? How am I gonna protect my family when I'm not here? And it's by making sound decisions
and protect
today.
Your assets so you can protect your family, right?
And then we had also talked about that Rolodex that Pence has, right? You've got all these trusted partners for the place where your reach ends. It's a seamless handoff to someone in the insurance space or in the realtor space.
We're happy to hop on a call with anyone's estate attorney, CPA, realtor, even if they're part of our network or not. We're there for our clients. So yes, we have an extensive network of people that we work with. In fact, I'm generally giving referrals, and I'll give people 3 or 4 at a time and they can pick which one. But yes, we have so many estate attorneys and CPAs and realtors that we work with to provide more robust resources to our clients.
So Pence is here and in Grass Valley, and it's been around for how long?
So Pence is actually headquartered in Newport Beach.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we were a company before called King Wealth Planning, and we recently merged
years ago.
Pence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So Pence has offices, about 15 offices all over the U.S., and we are their San Jose office and Grass Valley office.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And when you started in this space, it wasn't in the financial advisor space.
No, my background is in human resources, business administration, and ethical leadership. Yeah.
Right. Which I love.
Yeah,
All making
which
sure that you
actually
care.
helps so much.
Yes, you've
Yeah.
got a great compass, right?
Right,
You
right.
know the rules of the road.
Yeah.
But then at some point in time, other individuals seeing more in you, saying, "Hey, this is something you've got to go down this road because you've got this great framework, and you invested the time and energy to become a financial advisor."
Yeah. Yeah. And I always wanted to. I always knew that it would be the right move for me. And I've worked with these clients for over 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know them. They know me. They're my family.
Yeah, it's long term. That's what
It
someone
is.
doesn't
It's
really
long
when you're
term.
making
You're
this
in it for the
relationship.
long haul.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to know all the things about you because you're making decisions based on how beneficial it is for that member in your family or the members of your family or grandchildren you haven't met yet, right?
Right. It's
So
not just about that client. It's that client's family.
Yeah. Which is it's a noble profession. I absolutely love it. What are red flags that you see when people are making planning, not planning? What are things that you can point to that you've seen in the past?
So a big one is I already have a financial advisor, which is great, but they can't articulate what the plan is and how it helps them. So if you don't know what your plan is about and what it's helping you do in the future, then you need to reevaluate it.
So this is someone that's coming for you for outside advice. They're like, "Hey, I've been meeting with someone. We've met, Shannon, and you seem like you know what you're doing. So I absolutely want your input." And you say, "Oh, well, what's your current objective and what's your goal?" And they can't explain what the person that's been helping them out has done.
Right.
And you're thinking to yourself, okay, you need to have that conversation. You need to define that. The objective needs to be solidified.
Right.
And if not, how does someone move from one place to the next? Is that something, can you move from this agency or this group to another? Is it a transfer of assets? Is there a cost for doing something like that?
Oh, yeah, no, there's generally no cost, but yeah, you can move, you can transfer funds from one financial institution to another without any issues.
Okay.
Yeah, not a problem.
Someone's always willing to say, "Hey, I'll," and there's the movement, because the principle at Pence is it like Charles Schwab, or is it?
Oh, it's LPL. So
It
our
is
broker
LPL.
dealer is LPL, which is number one in the nation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And has always been for
Has
Pence.
always been, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And was that the same for King? Was that an easy transition?
Yeah. I've been working with LPL Financial for several years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so then there's all kinds of other things that I imagine you would provide as it relates to either an application, web portals, just access, being able to see
Lots of
where you're
tools.
at, trajectories, and just making sure. But then there's got to be that check-in, that triage, or that gut check with,
Absolutely.
"Hey, you said that you wanted to spend the rest of your life in the south of France. Well, you're not saving like you said you were. So I need to help bring
check
you
in definitely for clients with managed accounts. We have annual reviews, if not more often, depending on what the client prefers. And we will go over the entire financial outlook, and we'll look at trust, we'll look at insurance, we'll look at everything that we had talked about earlier, not only planning, but the performance of your accounts. We'll talk about your goals and where you're at in terms of what we talked about and how you're feeling. How are you feeling about those goals, right? Has anything changed?
Right. Right.
That's huge. Yeah. If anything's changed, then we've got to adjust. So we need to know.
Allocations,
Yeah.
distribution, who this is
That's
going to,
right.
who that's going
That's
to.
right.
Yeah.
We go over everything.
And that is in the estate planning, and that's actually a vehicle that Pence has as well in that estate planning.
Yeah, so we work with estate attorneys that we've established relationships with, and we will either refer clients or work with one that's existing, and we'll collaborate on meetings and talk about what the client needs, what the client goals are, and put a plan together for that client where everything's aligned.
And the estate attorney is taking care of the things like the Advanced Healthcare Directive. They're taking care of assembling the trust.
Right.
And then you're making sure that those assets are lined in there appropriately, so that the left knows what the right's doing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we always make sure that the trust, the binder, has the front page that has Pence Financial. This is who you want to call if something happens.
Right.
And you have to open this book. This is who you want to call.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly where that is in the house. I don't know that Kendall knows where that's at, but I know that I've told her.
Yeah.
She never wants to talk about it because that book
Yes.
means
Yes.
that something cataclysmic has happened in our life.
It's so important.
This big blue binder that we created.
Yeah.
Gosh,
If I could tell anyone, young or old, what they really, really need to have is, if you have over $200,000 in assets or you own property, you need to have a trust. You need to. If you also need to have an advance directive, and you also need to have a power of attorney. And we did talk about this earlier as well, but make sure you have beneficiaries on all of your accounts.
Right.
There's just way too many times I've seen things go sideways, and it's not fun for the people that are left behind.
Well, and I imagine there's lost funds, there's lost time. There's so many issues that take place if a family is trying to get access to something, and it's like, this I or this T wasn't dotted or crossed.
Right.
So all of a sudden we've got all these loopholes to jump through in order to get you what you needed, right? Mm-hmm. But that's something that you're like, someone comes in and they're like, I've got this account, this account, this account, this account, and you'll help monitor, right? If someone has a 401k with Empower, you're like, well, we'll bring that into your portfolio. And we also want to review that to make sure that you have your beneficiary set. That's an I&T thing for Pence. Correct. And for just financial advisors to be like, hey, these are things you got to take care of.
That's another thing we're going over periodically, is making sure that the beneficiaries are assigned. If there's a trust, that the trust is assigned, that the accounts are registered in the correct name. If it's a trust, it's in the trust.
Yeah, because we had to change the name of our bank account to match the trust. Right. And I didn't know that.
The
I was
title
like,
has to be correct. Yeah.
I got my trust. We got our trust done, and I was like, okay. Whew. And then I went to the bank and I was trying to do something. They were like, you can't. And if you want to deposit into this account, the account has to say that,
They
I
won't
think
let
this
you
was
deposit.
Yeah.
Into an account.
Yeah, I think this is long enough ago that I was still getting free checks, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But I don't think they give free checks anymore.
No,
So
I don't think they even make checks anymore.
Do they? No.
I'm joking.
My gosh, yes. I've aged myself. If you're writing checks, it's cute though. I mean, do you remember being a kid and learning how to write a check for the first time?
Yeah.
Yes.
And my kids don't know how to write a check. They couldn't write a check to save their lives. Like, Mom, what is this? What's this thing?
I saw a great meme this morning, and the meme said, the old folks are sitting around being like, oh, these kids don't know how to do longhand. They can't do cursive. And the child or young person is like, you can't open up your computer without inviting in a Trojan horse.
Right.
Everything
and you can't
being
get
taken
out
off
of your
your
Tesla
computer.
either.
Right. Thank you for that. That's a story for another time. I just shared that in privacy that I couldn't get out of my own car. It was early on.
You can
deny. Oh my gosh. How do you? So let's focus on how shifting from a short term to a long term. When does that happen? I mean, obviously, the younger you get somebody, the more they're having this long term goal.
Yeah.
But this short term to long term, where does that come into play?
So as soon as someone starts working and has earned income, he or she can start a Roth IRA, or some companies will offer a Roth 401k, and that's what young people need to do right away as soon as they have earned income, is open that up and start putting a certain amount of money in every month and building that.
Right, just a little, because it is, as you mentioned, muscle memory. We don't think about it like that, but it is like, okay, I don't get a piece of this.
Right.
I'm giving my future self this piece.
Right. It's a gift to yourself in the future, but it's also just start small. It's fine. Just start.
How often do you have the or have you ever had the sack of money under the mattress and someone comes in and they're like, what do I do with this? I imagine there's still a host of individuals out there just squirreling it away.
I know there are people that are afraid to put things in banks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are afraid to take on any risk at all. And so, yeah, there's vehicles for people like that. There's treasury bills, there's CDs, there's, high yield money market accounts. So there are some safer vehicles, definitely. And it just depends on the client and what the client wants. If the client wants growth, if the client wants income, what stage of life, what tax bracket, so many different
factors. The older someone is, someone's going to be like, oh, I want something that's income based because
it's going to be income. Right. And a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between growth and income. And growth is stocks and income is bonds.
Right.
So.
Right. And then you're the triple net comes in if it's like a property, but there's so much language that all these individuals,
so much.
And then they come in and you're like, I'm just going to simplify this because it can be terrifying. I mean, you almost want to run the other way just because there's so many acronyms.
Yeah.
There are so many different vehicles, and you're thinking to yourself, it's like the first time I realized that an insurance policy was a product. Because an insurance policy it's got a commission associated with it, it's got a growth rate associated with it, it has a payout associated with it.
And an annuity. An annuity is insurance.
Yeah, right. And most of these folks, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're going to help shape all of those things.
Yeah.
So, and it's passion for helping folks out, right?
It's for help. Yeah, I want to help people. I've been in HR, ethical leadership. I want to do what's right by people. The reason I started working with King Wealth Planning several years ago was because I was just tired of the toxic corporate America leadership. And I was just, I was just done with it. And then I met this group of people, and they were just wonderful people, and they had such great relationships with their clients. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's where I want to be.
The barometer was... Yeah, it was good. You're like, this is, I'm doing good work. I'm helping people that are making sound decisions for their families and their futures.
They had their core values defined. And not only was it just a slip of paper, right? Because a lot of companies will just, here's the stuff. It just goes in a file, right? No, everyone has it on their desk. We talk about it at every retreat. And our performance is actually tied to that.
That's amazing. So, and Pence was a natural transition.
Yes,
from King.
absolutely.
So it all made right now. It wasn't just the principle. It was all of those things were in line. So you were feeling great about, okay, here's this future. We're evolving into something bigger, but this bigger is also better. It's a larger reach, more assets for families and community.
Yeah, but the ethics piece is big for me.
Absolutely.
And so because I know that there's not a lot of people out there who operate as a fiduciary or operate with a code of ethics, and this company does. And so that's why I choose to be here.
I love that. I am wanting to make sure that our listeners know that Pence Financial is the place to go as it relates to their future planning, their wealth management. And I really look forward to all of you that get a chance to listen to this and hear, to meet with Shannon. I've known you for years now in different capacities, all for King Wealth and now Pence. And your objective has always been high in ethics, care, compassion, and just that noble cause of just protecting individuals. So thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Thanks you for having me.
And you're really the ringleader of talking about tomorrow and getting this group together to showcase all of the things that we need to plan, right? Guiding Grief is a lot of the times this reactive thing to what happens to us and how we plan as it relates to that ultimate loss. But all of the individuals in your team and your group are protecting families before that. There's so much that we can do.
Right. So. Don't wait until you are forced to make a decision. You don't want to plan when you're in crisis mode. You really don't.
That's mission critical, right? know that if you're planning in crisis, then you should have done it sooner.
Right.
And so have that difficult conversation.
Yeah, have that difficult
Yes.
conversation today. Talk about tomorrow, please.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Shannon Corpuz from
Thank you.
Pence Financial, for being a part of Talking About Tomorrow on the Guiding Grief podcast. We are so excited that KCAT is hosting an amazing event. It's coming up here soon. It is their Oktoberfest. It is one of their biggest events. It is their biggest event of the year, and it is a huge opportunity for you to get out there and support this local organization that provides so much back to our local community. So thank you to Melissa and the entire KCAT team for all the support and all the help you give to our local community. Thanks for hosting the Guiding Grief podcast. And again, Shannon, thank you for being with us on Talking About Tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Be good to one another. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Guiding Grief podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Welzenbach. Grief is a profound experience, but you're not alone. Let's continue to navigate this journey together. If you have any thoughts, questions, or topics you'd like us to explore, reach out. Until next time, be kind to yourself, find strength in your resilience, and always hold on to hope. Before we end, I'd like to give a quick thank you to KCAT TV for producing our show. Please remember, be good to one another.